Adidas, though it's not directly related to the World Cup, but I feel like they would have been good if they could have made the connection. But they announced that they're going to make a €1, so $1.50 shoe with Mohammed Yunus, who's won the Nobel Peace Prize. He was head of the Grameen, was really one of the founders of the whole microfinance movement. And they said they would make a €1 shoe, and it would be based in Bangladesh. It was where they would do production. It would be for Bangladesh, the population there, so a really low price point that people could afford. It would have the health benefits of kids and people wearing sneakers, and also, I'm sure help Adidas's brand recognition in Bangladesh, and probably also India, Pakistan, kind of surrounding areas. And I think it's great, and actually, since they're going to do production in Bangladesh, they help that way by providing job opportunities. But it would have been smart if they could have done something focused around the World Cup, I think. But one of the more disappointing, I guess, efforts, though, or things I've not seen is Adidas's involvement. Though I've heard or read things here and there about them being involved in kind of helping build the physical infrastructure of fields and stuff like that around the country. But I really thought that they would step up more, especially as the kind of only kind of sanctioned athletics brand around that can really market around this event. I thought they would. I was hoping, and I hope they still do, but I was hoping they'd take more advantage of that and try to, I don't know, just do something that could help kind of cement their position in the South African market and the rest of Africa, because Nike and Puma are definitely big players. But I can only speak from my own opinion, but I know Nike does, I'm pretty sure, just with some of the efforts of being able to support that, the Football Association. I know there's other stuff that they're doing as well. And I know Puma does, because they're probably the biggest supporter of African football in terms of sponsoring. I think they sponsor 14 African national teams. And so, just those signs point to, most people in that industry thinking that Africa is a viable market. If not now, then definitely in the future. So to kind of get be the brand of preference now would certainly be a good thing to establish. And I think as more and more Africa, especially South Africa, I would see definitely a viable market. So I think it's generally accepted that it's not going to be the biggest market, but there's a lot of potential. The continent as a whole, even though it's not one country, is more than 1 billion people. So compare that to say China or India, it's right up there. There's varying, kind of markets in the various countries in terms of actual purchasing power and kind of those who can afford these products. But I think it would be silly if they didn't think it was, because my feeling is that Adidas, Puma, and Nike are certainly looking at it as a market of interest. If they weren't a sponsor, I'd say
right.
You can't advertise or market, but if you want to be involved in getting, breaking into this market, or at least softening the market for, trying to expand your presence, this is an event where you have, 26 billion people watching. The cost of entry, for your advertising is you can't. So could CSR or a cause marketing initiative could buy you that space, and also you'd be buying, kind of building goodwill towards your brand in markets that I think are more and more, and I can speak about South Africa, but more and more expect their brands to do more than just make something. If I could instruct a Fortune 500 CEO who has interests in South Africa and Africa as a whole, that this is certainly a good time to just do something around the games. You kind of use the halo of the popularity and then the excitement around the world and particularly in Africa for the games to leverage the excitement and use it as a way to get your name out there. And I think a good way to do that is to do something that's thoughtful and nice to the folks that you're trying to get as potential customers. Well, I think if it goes off without a hitch, and I think that will prove to people that it's a viable, has a viable infrastructure that can host an event like this. It'll show that folks that it's a good place to invest in, which I think a lot of people in the industry know that it is, but kind of get that out to a more global audience. I think it's seen as a good tourist destination, but definitely I think if this can go off well, then it'll improve. Kind of take away some of the safety stigmas that I think are still there, and a lot of it, it's true that it's not always the safest place, but there's a lot of places that aren't very safe. So I hope it'll boost tourism. I think there's a lot to benefit from the event if it can go well. I think people, everyone I've ever spoken to who's been to South Africa, and this is how I feel about the country too, is that once you're there, once you've gone there, it's kind of sticks with you forever. Maybe that's the same for other parts of Africa, but I've worked in other parts of Africa, but I'd have to say South Africa has been pretty special to me. So I would like to think that if people can kind of see or experience firsthand, which is probably the best way, but see how special of a place it is, that it will only help them in tourism and investment and kind of all aspects.